I want to tell you about something exciting happening in the Central Region right now. The Central Region Job Centers have joined forces with the Missouri Department of Higher Education and Workforce Development and Coursera to offer over 4,000 cutting-edge courses free to Missourians. Coursera, the world's learning platform, is providing Missourians with a transformative learning experience that empowers citizens to gain skills and help them with career development. Coursera can help you learn in-demand skills in subjects like technology and business that prepare you for today's job opportunities. Enjoy interactive learning experiences and be a part of Coursera's global learning community. Course videos, readings, and assignments are multi-language. Work at your own pace with Coursera's bite-sized sessions and self-paced learning model. You can download the Coursera mobile app to learn new skills anytime, anywhere, and earn university-accredited certifications from leading global institutions that can help boost your resume. The application process is pretty simple. You'll fill out a short inquiry form and a Central Region Job Center team member will then contact you to determine eligibility and begin enrollment. Once enrolled, Coursera will send you an email within 2 business days. Then you can register for free online courses and complete them at your own pace. To learn more and apply today, visit cwdregion.com/Coursera. That's cwdregion.com/Coursera. I want you to ask yourself this question. Do I believe I am worth having the job I want? If you immediately tell yourself no, then we have a serious problem. Your self-talk stinks and you need to work on it. If you don't believe in yourself, how do you expect anyone else to believe in you, especially an employer who may know nothing about you? Welcome to the Workforce Link podcast, where we're offering forward-thinking conversations for the workforce, linking employers and job seekers to a brighter tomorrow. I'm your host, Sunday Jo Graham, and I am so glad to be back with you for another episode today. Our mindset is everything. It can make or break our success in any area of life, really, but for today, we're going to focus on the mindset when it comes to getting the job you want, specifically when it comes to interviewing. Business coach Tony Robbins says, "It is in your moments of decision that your destiny is shaped." This is so true, because though we're not in complete control of what happens to us on a daily basis, we do have control over more than we think we do. So if you're planning for a job interview, you don't want to miss today's episode. We're going to talk about how to shift your mindset to help you find success in conquering that next interview. Before we dive into today's episode, though, I have a question for you. Are you enjoying this podcast? If the answer is yes, would you mind sharing it with a friend or coworker who would enjoy it as well? Maybe you have a friend preparing for a job interview and they could use some tips on how to shift their mindset. We would greatly appreciate it. Okay, now let's dive into today's episode on how to keep a positive mindset when it comes to job interviews. So, you've applied for the job, and they were impressed with your cover letter, impressed with your resume, which, by the way, is a huge compliment in itself, because many cover letters and resumes don't even make it through the applicant tracking system. Or if it's poorly organized, a lot of hiring managers are just going to toss it aside. We actually talked about this, I believe, episode 13 of the podcast. It was called 6 Resume Mistakes That You Need to Stop Making Today. Very beneficial if you want to go back and get some tips on how to make your resume the most that it can be. And I will, again, share the link in the show notes if you want to go back and listen to that. So, first of all, congratulations on that big step. Now, you've been called for the interview. The way you approach this next step is huge. How you walk into that interview determines more than you can probably even imagine. Determines your future, I should say, more than you can probably even imagine. I've literally known people, amazing team members. Their resumes were fantastic, but they've literally said things before. They even submitted their resume. Things like, "It's not like I have a chance of getting the job anyway. There's probably 100 other people who are better than me." Or I've heard, "There's no point preparing for the interview. They probably already had their minds made up, but they just need to fill a quota." Or they're probably going to spend the whole time judging me, not even get to know me. Or, "Oh, I just can't wait to get this over with." That is what I like to call stinking thinking. And frankly, ain't nobody got time for that. Because if you stay in this poor, pitiful me, or life is always hard mindset, guess what? You're right. You're always going to be a victim, and you'll always make life hard for yourself. Or the complete opposite. I've known people to have been the complete opposite, who have been a little too cocky for their own good, like saying things like, have you seen my resume? Why wouldn't they want me? Or I can do more than half the people of that company. If they don't hire me, they're only losing. Here's the thing. People like confidence, but they don't like arrogance. And people can smell the difference from a mile away. Nobody wants an arrogant team member, okay? So you truly get to decide, to a certain extent, what your job interview is going to be like. Sure, you can't control the employer. You can't control what questions they're going to ask. You can't control their attitude, but you can control what you bring to the environment. And so really, you get to decide what your attitude is going in before you ever even send that resume. So if you're not even optimistic about the process, you're not going to put the proper amount of effort in to even sending your resume and cover letter. Make sense? So let's talk a little bit about confidence. So as I said previously, there's a big difference between confidence and arrogance, right? People respect confidence. And you need to be confident when you're pushing that send button, that you are the one for the job, as well as be confident when you step into that room for the job interview. And so for those who are shy, this can be a little bit difficult, and that's okay. If that is you, I want you to have a pep talk with yourself before you head in for the interview, okay? Talk to yourself in the mirror. Speak some positive affirmations over yourself. And yes, I just gave you permission to talk to yourself. But really, you want to speak positive things over yourself. Like, I've got this, right? You're not being cocky. You're being confident. You can say things like, I am a valuable asset to this company and I have a lot to offer. I'm confident in my ability to do the job and they will be glad they hired me. Now, see what I mean? There was no arrogance in those statements because all of those things are true about you, but you have to believe them too. So if the employer has to pull teeth from you just to get answers, they're going to miss out on who you really are and what you're capable of doing. So you don't have to pretend, right, to be the most outgoing person in the world. Just don't be afraid to talk about yourself in a positive manner because you are worth it. Okay? Now, if you're a bold person, guess what? That's great too. But don't go in trying to make yourself appear weak so that you can look humble, okay? But make sure that you're finding a balance. Make sure you want to find that balance between I've totally got this in the bag to I'm confident enough in myself that I believe I can do this job and bring value to your company, right? Difference in confidence and arrogance. It is definitely all about balance. And remember that the employer is forming their opinion of you based on that first interview. So don't make it easy for them to decide that you're not a good fit. Determine your confidence level before you ever get to the interview. Okay, now let's talk a little bit about self-talk. So I touched briefly on looking at yourself in the mirror, talking to yourself, right? Preparing yourself for that interview. But I want to dive just a little bit deeper into the importance of self-talk. So I want you to ask yourself this question. Do I believe I am worth having the job I want? Do I believe I am worth having the job I want? If you immediately tell yourself no, then we have a serious problem. Your self-talk stinks and you need to work on it, okay? If you don't believe in yourself, how do you expect anyone else to believe in you, especially an employer who may know nothing about you? So stop and really take some time to process through this question. Why don't you believe you're worth getting this job if you don't? Why don't you believe that you have what it takes? What lie are you believing about yourself that is getting in the way? And if this is the case, I want you to stop listening to this episode right now. I want you to go back and I want you to listen to episode 4, where I talk about how to find your value. We even provide a free download that can help you get started in finding your value. And you can listen at cwdregion.com/EP4. Again, I'll share the link in the show notes for you, but I want you to go back and listen to that, okay? Go ahead. I'll wait right here. All right. Are you back? Good. Let's keep going. So, you're going to get out of your interview what you put into it, right? Whatever you tell yourself is pretty much going to be what you get in return. If you show up scared and shy, it's going to tell the employer that you're doubting your ability to perform, and they need somebody they can count on. And if you show up with this arrogant mindset, guess what? You're building this wall up that says, hey, you owe me. And guess what? Remember this, that employer owes you nothing. Okay, now I don't want to say all this to say that it's just like super easy to walk into an interview and get it perfect, right? It's not wrong to battle fear. We're human. But what you don't want to do is allow that fear to conquer you. And you know what else? If you get in there and you start getting nervous, just be honest with the employer and say, hey, I'm just a little nervous. Would you mind if we started over? You know what? They're most likely going to respect your vulnerability. This interview is your time to shine, my friend. And you can shine well even with the blemishes. It's really up to you how bright you shine. And your mindset changes everything. It's up to you what you're going to choose, okay? That's it for us this week. If you have enjoyed this episode, don't forget to share it with a friend. You can do this, and if you need some assistance practicing for that upcoming interview, don't hesitate to contact a job center near you. Our career consultants would love to help. You can find the job center closest to you at cwdregion.com/job centers. That's cwdregion.com/job centers, and I will share the link to that in the show notes for you. Have a great week, and we will meet again in the next episode. Until then, remember this: there's always a brighter tomorrow if you're willing to find it. The Central Region Workforce Development Board Incorporated and COPIC are equal opportunity employers and programs. Auxiliary aids and services are available upon request to individuals with disabilities. Missouri Relay Services at 711.